Welcome back, everybody, to Legacy Leadership, Wisdom of the Apostle Paul, Day 22 in the devotional, and this section is titled Affectionate and Emotional, Part 1. Everybody, we're just a couple days away from getting together face-to-face at my house Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. If you're a neighborhood coach, an assistant coach, or perhaps a coach in training, we are looking forward to having you over so we can talk about what it means to be a neighborhood coach and how we can all get better. Really looking forward to that. If you guys have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out, and we'll try to address that. Obviously, most of us take time off during the summer from our neighborhood groups, and I wanted to use this off season as a way for us to sort of train together, develop together, and really let's flex the muscles of coaching. Let's flex the muscles of leadership and discipleship so that when we get done in this off season, we have momentum, we have excitement, we have passion, and perhaps even some renewed relationships over the summer with some of our neighborhood group members who have taken a lot of steps and maybe potentially looking at some leadership potentials in neighborhood groups as well. I just want to remind you all that as we identify leaders in our neighborhood groups, definitely get a hold of me. If you think someone in your group is on that track, we want to kind of cater to them and certainly do whatever we can to get the tools in their hands so they can study and prepare for this. So get me involved as your team lead here, and I will get Jeff Fulton and Tom DeMonte involved. Most of the time it'll be Jeff on our side of the tracks, so to speak. And so just wanted to point that out as we think about this over the next coming weeks and we start to identify potential folks in and around our spheres of influence that might be able to come in as a neighborhood coach at some point. We want to talk about that. We want to bring them up so we can get our staff members from church involved, and let's see what we can do to lead people through whatever their next steps are. And if leadership is one of those next steps, we want to make sure we're doing everything possible to help them. So keep that in mind as we get ready to go this week and start talking about coaching and assistant coaching. And we'll definitely dive into that over the upcoming weeks. So let's continue on to the devotional here. Day 22, Affectionate and Emotional, Part 1. There's a myth that permeates many leadership environments. It's the idea that the leader must be separated from those he or she leads. This line of thinking suggests that a leader should maintain a stoic, dispassionate relationship with their followers. Leaders who follow this philosophy maintain what social scientists call a high level of power distance. They keep their followers at arm's length. When leaders choose to do this, they cut themselves off from a vital source of important information. This can also create a climate of distrust. Leaders choose to create and maintain distance between themselves and their followers for a variety of reasons. Some do this to maintain a level of respect they believe they deserve. Others may do it to protect themselves from a level of intimacy that may interfere with their judgment. Still, others have personal insecurities and fragile egos. They withhold information to maintain power. This prevents them from sharing information that might actually empower others. That's important. When we withhold some of this information to maintain power, it actually prevents us from sharing and potentially empowering others. Interesting point. Regardless of the reason, leaders who choose to maintain this distance make it difficult to build a climate of trust. Thus, the relationship between the leader and his or her followers never reaches its full potential. Paul did not maintain a distance between himself and his followers. As we discussed in day 2 of this plan, Paul had a low power distance orientation. He was among those he led, and he wasn't afraid to openly share his feelings about them. In his letters, he often bares his soul concerning his feelings about those he leads. Quote, "But we proved to be gentle among you, as a nursing mother tenderly cares for her own children. Having so fond an affection for you, we were well pleased to impart to you not only the gospel of God, but also our own lives, because you had become very dear to us." End quote. That comes out of 1 Thessalonians 2, verses 7 and 8. Among you indicates Paul was in the midst of the Thessalonians. Instead of distancing himself from them based on his position, he took a place of equality among them. Far from trying to achieve some personal or financial gain from them, he was one of them, and lavished affectionate care among them. Legacy leaders do not lead from a distance. They imitate Jesus, who said, "I am among you as one who serves." Luke 22, verse 27. They are comfortable sharing their lives with their followers. So that is a very interesting, it's pretty short devotional, but it certainly is important to see that legacy leaders do not lead from a distance. They imitate Jesus, who said, "I am among you as one who serves." They are comfortable sharing their lives with their followers. Let's reflect on these questions. Sociologists identify power distance as an important dimension of culture. High power distance cultures maintain a separation between leaders and followers and rely on formal structures to enforce this. Low power distance cultures are characterized by a more equal distribution of power. Based on this brief description, how would you characterize your organization? Pause on that. I want you guys to reflect on CCV as your organization. I want you to reflect on your family as an organization, and I want you to reflect on your workplace as an organization. Based on the description here, how would you characterize your organizations? Number 2, these cultural differences can also be seen in the style of individual leaders. As you reflect on your leadership, do you keep your followers at arm's length, a high power distance, or do you tend to be among those you are leading, a low power distance? And number 3, how does your power distance orientation impact your leadership? The reason why we are coming together, one of the reasons we're coming together, I think this is an important, this power distance thing. Although I am a coach lead, I was a coach. Although I am a coach lead, I'm in a neighborhood group. Although I want to lead coaches, I also want to be among you in the groups and doing the work that you as leaders are doing. And so this particular devotional is really important to me, that in order for me to really, I would say, exercise or put this into application, that I need to be in close relationship with each of you. And by having us all come together in my living room this week, I believe the power distance drops to the floor, because we are leading among each other. And so the power distance between our somewhat hierarchical power structure really is non-existent, because like I said, I am leading among coaches. I'm leading with coaches. My plan is to never lord over coaches, but rather to do exactly what we're talking about, to come alongside you guys, because I care about you. I care about those that you're leading, and I want to be a part of that change in your personal life, and I want to be a part of the change that you're enacting in the lives of those that you lead, especially in our neighborhood groups. So this power distance, I believe we need to do everything we can to eliminate the high power distance. Let's have as much relationship as we can among one another, and then let's go emulate or practice or put into application the same thing that we're doing together. Let's do it with our groups. Let's make sure that we're doing life together, that even though you're the leader of the group, that everybody knows that knows your heart. And if your heart has been changing over this last few weeks, then that's great. And if it's not really about the power for you, and it is more about the people, then I think you're already on the right track. And honestly, I do believe that's where most of our coaches are. So I wanted to just mention that, because as I think about power distance as a volunteer leader, I don't believe I would be effective at all unless I was leading among you. And I'm looking forward to doing that this week, Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. I've got my address on the Facebook page as well as the email. I'm going to be shooting you some individual emails this week, today specifically, Monday. and just wanted to get a couple questions asked and see who's all going to make it this Wednesday, so I can make sure I'm prepared for seating and those sorts of things. But also just wanted to pick your brains a little bit. So look for my email today, and we'll be talking to you soon. That's it for day 22 of the Legacy Leadership Journey. Looking forward to seeing you all this week. And that's all for now. See you next time.